Sturm Ruger has been putting out high quality firearms for decades, and they are one of the top U.S. gun manufacturers and have been for a number of years. But over just the past few years, Ruger has really stepped up its game and started putting out some really incredible designs, leading the industry in a lot of areas. And because of that, the demand for Ruger has skyrocketed to the point where a lot of times they're not able to keep up with demand. Now it's the same with this SR1911. I'm going to tell you what, I was so excited when Ruger finally announced that they were making their version of the classic 1911. And they are in very high demand. In fact, I was really glad to be able to get one from a good friend of mine to do this review. Here's Ruger's offering to the 1911 family of pistols, and John Browning's incredible design, and one that has stood the test of time in combat and is still as popular as ever, even today. When Ruger was designing this pistol and trying to decide what they wanted in a 1911, because there are a lot of opinions out there on what needs to be on a 1911. I've been a huge fan of 1911s for as long as I can remember. And so Ruger went out to different gun shops. They went all over asking industry leaders what should they put on their 1911. And that's what they came up with, is the SR1911. Now it does come with a nice pouch, and with that pouch comes 2 magazines, a 7-round and an 8-round magazine. The 8-round magazine has a bumper pad on the bottom, and it does come with a barrel bushing wrench. We're going to go ahead and safety check the weapon, and it is unloaded. Of course, one of the first things that you're going to notice with the stainless steel is that it is a low glare finish. It's not the bright stainless. Of course, the barrel will be a little shiny, but overall, just a total matte finish. Very reminiscent of your basic 1911, of course, with some really sweet upgrades. And one of those is the Novak sight. The Novak rear sight with a standard front. A nice contrast between the stainless and the black as well. It does have the standard 5-inch barrel. And one thing that they have done and they've kept is the barrel bushing. A lot of the pistols that you're seeing today are without a barrel bushing. The barrel actually comes up and mates with the slide itself. And that's a new design that a lot of the 1911 manufacturers have gone to. But one of the things that Ruger decided on with the barrel bushing is it's more with the classic lines, but also it's a lot cheaper to manufacture. You've got to fit the slide with the barrel really closely. The barrel bushing solves that. That really helped with the accuracy, is keeping your barrel stable with the barrel bushing. Now, one of the things that I do want to mention about the barrel bushing, the barrel, is that it's made from the same bar stock. And in fact, the two pieces together. So what's happened is it improves accuracy, and the pieces are mated finely together. Now, one of the big things that's different about the SR1911 from the other semi-automatic pistols is that the slide is a machine slide. Most of Ruger's firearms are cast. They're from castings, and because of that, it keeps the price really down. But the problem was it was going to be more expensive to cast the 1911 slide because of a lot of the features of the 1911, and that it was easier and cheaper to go ahead and have the slide machined. So now we see here on the slide, it's just a nice Ruger, made in the USA. On the other side, we have the Ruger symbol, the Phoenix, and then of course Prescott, Arizona, Ruger SR1911, and then the serial number. It's a very clean slide, and that's one of the things about Ruger that's always been, kind of funny, is they've put a lot of information on their slide. In fact, I read one place where a guy said, hey, if you're in camp and you get bored, you can always pull out your Ruger and read it. And one of the things I want to mention, it does say made in the USA. That means all the parts. There are no parts on this pistol that are not manufactured right here in the USA. There are a couple of parts that are contracted out, and those are also made in the USA. And now it does have the oversized ejection port, which I do like, and that way when you're ejecting shells, you're not going to have stovepipes and have a lot of issues with the old basic 1911s. One thing about that too is, which I really like, is that there is a round indicator right here where you can see through and be able to see the brass of your round to know that the gun is loaded. It does have an extended safety, but it doesn't stick way out as far as a paddle. So it does give you a little bit of extra leverage too when you're gripping the pistol to be able to hold down on your safety. There's also the grip safety, which is a really nice beaver tail with a memory notch. Now, one great thing about the memory notch is that it gives you a definite contact with the grip safety. If you don't have the grip safety engaged, you are not going to be able to fire the gun. So it gives you a definite contact point. Now, this pistol was based on the 70 series, and originally the 70 series did not have a firing pin block. And when they made it into the 80 series, the mechanism of the firing pin block made the trigger a little gritty and not quite as smooth as the traditional 1911s. In fact, all of my 1911s are 80 series because I just love that trigger pull. But the problem is you're missing a firing pin block, which can be a problem if the gun is dropped on the hammer or dropped and it floats the firing pin. What's happened here is Ruger went with the 70 series design, but to keep it safe, there is a firing pin block, but it's actuated by the grip safety. So you've got to be in a firing position anyway before this thing is going to be activated. Now, it does have an extended magazine release, and it's not too obtrusive with the grip. You don't even know it's there. It does have an aluminum skeletonized trigger with the set screw for adjustment. Very lightweight and just makes it really nice when firing. The trigger pull on this gun is excellent, exceptional. Also, one thing about the firing pin, it is a titanium firing pin. So it's going to hold up very well, but yet be very lightweight. A really nice, easy to grip with your thumb skeletonized hammer, and it mates really nicely with the beaver tail groove. The mainspring housing is an aluminum flat mainspring housing with nice checkering on it. The front strap is smooth. The grips are rosewood and they're with the diamond, and they're beautiful with the Ruger emblem right here on the grip. One of the things that makes this a really striking pistol too is that you have the stainless steel matte finish, and then you have your accessories in black, and it really sets off this pistol. The serrations on the slide are at an angle, makes it for easy gripping. Okay, I thought I'd bring out one of my classics. This is a 70 series Government. Just beautiful classic weapon. Of course, the lines and everything are the same, but there are some definite differences with the upgrade. Considering that the original design is over 100 years old, it's just really astounding that it has held up as long as it has. You know, we can see right away the different comparisons with the hammer. Even the serrations with the up and down serrations here and the angled, a little bit heavier. You can see the ejection port, how it is enhanced. It's much larger. It's able to get rid of those big old huge 45 cases. Of course, the traditional grip safety, and then you have your beaver tail. This really allows you to get your hand way up on the firearm. In case you have real meaty hands, it keeps you from getting that infamous hammer bite. And of course, right away we see the standard 1911 sights. They're pretty low and pretty sad compared to the Novak 3 dots. Here's your traditional safety. Then you have your extended. You have your basic Colt trigger. And then here, of course, you have your skeletonized aluminum trigger. The mag release, as you can see too, the difference. No beveling on this magwell. This magwell does have the beveling. One thing I really like about the SR1911 is that it has a bevel on the magwell. It allows for easier mag insertion. Now, one thing too is the crown right here on the slide is somewhat beveled a little bit, whereas it's a pretty sharp angle right here on the basic 1911. Still has that big flipping hole at the end of the barrel. Now, there's also just a little bit of difference in weight. The Colt weighs 2 pounds and 3.5 ounces. The Ruger weighs 2 pounds, 5 ounces. So an ounce and a half difference between the two. It does come with a barrel bushing wrench, and this allows you ease in breaking down your pistol. So we're going to take a look at the inside, because there are a lot of different pistols that are being made with a few different systems. Of course, the 1911 barrel design is the same. John Browning's barrel design does have a solid barrel bushing, not the fingered type. And it also has the standard 1911 recoil guide rod. And a lot of people have gone to the full guide rod and a lot of other different designs, but Ruger followed pretty much along the same lines as your basic 1911. Of course, the interior, everything is very familiar with those of us who shoot a lot of 1911. The machining, everything in here is excellent. Just Ruger quality. I think old Bill Ruger would be extremely proud of this pistol. Now the weight on the pistol is 39 ounces, which is typical for your 1911 style pistols, and it's good and solid in the hand. And that's one of the things that's really nice, is in a day of super polymer pistols, which I love, having a good pistol that feels your hand is really nice. What an incredible, beautiful pistol. Of course, here's a perfect mate, HPR made in Arizona, with the SR1911 made in Arizona. Both made in the USA. And the 45 ACP. That's American round in itself. Now that's a hoss. Here you have the brass indicator letting you know that the gun is loaded. Now, it's no surprise to me that this SR1911 has super impressed me, to the point that it's moved up a few notches on my to-get list. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Oh yeah, I think General Patton would be proud. The only problem with this thing is you never have enough ammunition. Man, my ammo's all gone.